Fantasy Footballers Podcast, coming to you from Draft.com Studios with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Dallas! Welcome in to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast live in Dallas, Texas. All right.
The crowd is hyped.
I hope we get the greatest mailbag drop we've ever had today.
That's a challenge. Whoa, yeah. Hold on.
Jason shout out.
There was multiple people that just shouted for Jason.
That just means there are several tone-deaf individuals in the audience, and we appreciate it. Welcome in. This is stop number 2 on the Fantasy for the People tour.
Presented by Draft.
Presented
Thank you so
by
much.
Draft. Thank you to Draft for sponsoring all of these live events. If you're listening and you want to come, there are more. Philadelphia, New York, Phoenix.
Yeah, careful with the Philly.
You realize Philly was... Yeah, I got you.
You got any gum?
It was a problem for Minneapolis, too.
Yeah, it was.
And I understand.
Philly better come and represent.
Yeah, they better come out. BallersLive.com if you want to grab tickets to the show. We got a great show. I won't mention the Eagles very much. Okay? That's my promise to you. We got some stuff planned, some fun stuff planned. We've got risk reward on the show today.
These are some players that we are, dare I say, very excited for, yet very scared.
Yeah, very scared. Very special drop that Mike has prepared for that segment. And I'm excited. Are you excited?
Oh, dude, I'm so excited.
You still got a voice? You good? Now, you remember this is live.
You guys are in for a treat.
So there were a bunch of quick question submissions that I got off of Twitter. Dak versus Wentz and Philly Dallas stuff that I didn't want to get into, and I agree. And what was strange is while we were in the hotel,
right? Well, we're here for the NFFC,
absolutely,
and there's NFL players everywhere right now.
Gonna be a blast tomorrow. And while I was in the hotel, the postal service, you're familiar.
Mm-hmm. I heard of it.
Mm-hmm. Someone brought by a letter.
No, wait, no one gets letters anymore.
I know. But I got one.
Oh.
And it's actually for Jason, and you didn't even know, but I'm going to read it.
Hold on. Did you realize that opening letters for someone else is a federal offense?
Well,
thank you. It's a felony.
Not if you're the host. So, but I got this letter, and it's addressed to you, and it seemed relevant enough, so I'm going to read it.
I'm looking forward to it.
And I just want to touch on a few things that I have to share this with you. And I hope you'll be okay.
All right.
Dearest Jason, I've received all of your previous correspondence, and it's now quite clear your feelings for me. The twinkle you get in your eye whenever my name is scribbled down on your fantasy roster. The way you stare longingly at the box scores like no one else's fantasy points seem to matter. How do I say this other than to just say it? Please stop writing me. You expect far too much. Yea, my star was born last season. But it cannot burn as bright in the shadow of my elders, Antonio, Le'Veon, who demand the highest care and attention of our leader, Benjamin. Again, dearest Jason, I implore you, stop writing. Your unrequited love will only lead to embarrassment, as my current draft position cannot sustain your expectations. Plus, it's really, really creepy. Farewell,
I love you, Juju!
Farewell, Juju.
Farewell?
Oh, man.
It's emotional.
I can't believe he got a letter.
Do you have any thoughts to to share based on hearing that? I mean, this has got to be difficult.
Yeah, well, let me just say this. Juju, I know that you are out there. I know that you are watching me now like a star from the heavens. I will not stop writing or loving you. Against my mind, I will follow my heart.
There are people who might make you stop.
Yeah.
Called the police.
Now, that's very interesting. I will admit that I probably talk about Juju too much. That's,
a little too much.
That's on me. But I wasn't the only one to get a letter addressed to me.
That's
Andy.
impossible.
Yeah. Hit the music. Because you got a letter too, buddy.
This is incredible.
They went up 100%.
Dear Andy.
Whoa!
Kyle Rudolph here. Do you even remember me anymore? A few years ago, we were like best friends. I remember you hyping me up even before I broke out. You told everyone who would listen to draft me, and you even took me yourself. My man. But it was recently brought to my attention that you've been talking smack behind my back, saying I'm no good, I'm uninspiring, a mediocre tight end. I heard from my mom that both last year and this year you have made something called a water bet against me. What is that? Why would you do that? It hurts, man. What more can I do? Over the last 2 seasons, I'm the 4th best tight end in fantasy. I'm 3rd in targets. I'm 3rd in receptions. I'm 6th in yards. And I'm freaking 2nd in touchdowns. He's pretty heated here. I mean, come on, man. I even got an upgraded quarterback who loves his tight end. Look, we don't have to be best friends anymore. But I still care about you, Andy. And I just don't want you to look like a dumb idiot at the end of the year. Also, stop picking on Jason. He's the coolest.
Oh, my goodness. I didn't expect this.
Thank you, Kyle.
The power of a letter. Incredible. Look, that was emotional. He made some strong points. Him and his mother.
I mean, I'm shocked that somehow you guys intercepted each other's mail.
That's weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's really weird.
Strange. But we can move
on. I got a letter
to
myself.
We got to move on, Mike.
No. Dear Mike.
Oh, great.
First off, I appreciate you and your team believing in me this past year. The overwhelming support and belief I'd become a fantasy superstar from the fantasy footballers really gave me wings, and not just little bitty baby wings. Angel wings that I used to soar. And yet your co-hosts seem to have lost faith in me. I guess they aren't interested in a player that finished top 5 at his position. For goodness sake, I led the league in rushing, forced missed tackles, yards after contact. I was one of only 6 running backs to prove durability to touch the ball 300 plus times. 6 out of how many? I'm not exactly sure, but it's a lot. I hear them grief me for my fantasy dry spell in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
But I listen to you guys, and they've been off their game more than their fair share of shows. Am I right?
Oh! Shots fired.
He says, please play the rim shot drop. I'll wait.
Goodness gracious.
In conclusion, my dearest best fantasy analyst friend Mike, you are the smartest and best looking of the bunch. I mean, I appreciate that. The only bust I'm going to produce is my likeness in Canton.
Wow.
Hugs and smooches, Kareem.
Wow, Mike. I now know how we can validate all of our opinions. Letters
to ourselves.
From ourselves to ourselves.
How dare you? And we'd like to thank Pristine Auction for sponsoring the show. Pristine Auction.
Give them a shout out.
They provided this incredible Dak Prescott signed Cowboys helmet that we are going to give away to one lucky listener if we don't leave the building with it ourselves.
Right. 50-50.
But Pristine Auction, we talk about it all the time. They are where you go for authentic signatures, the best sports memorabilia site of all time, giving you great deals like a Trey Burton signed Bears jersey, $53. A Travis Kelce signed Chiefs jersey, $92. I can't believe the deals.
They're pretty good.
I'm getting daily. You're getting daily. Pristine Auction. Make a completely free account. Let them know the footballers sent you.
Hey, Foot Clan, we're going to get right back to the show, but want to remind you about SeatGeek. Buying tickets to sports and concerts can be complicated and confusing, but there's a better way to buy with SeatGeek. It's the smartest, easiest way to get tickets to every type of live event, whether you're searching for a last-minute deal, planning a night out, or you need that perfect gift. SeatGeek helps you find the best seats at the best prices, fully guaranteed. I've got the SeatGeek app. The other boys, they got the SeatGeek app. We're using it. It makes buying tickets as easy as possible, just like they're talking about. It's designed to make the ticket buying experience easier than ever. They save you time, they save you money because they do the searching. They search multiple ticket sites to compare prices and find amazing deals. You're going to get the most bang for your buck because SeatGeek grades every ticket based on value to help you immediately identify the best seats to fit your budget, and every purchase is fully guaranteed. You got that confidence, right? Best of all, our listeners can get $20 off their first SeatGeek purchase. Just download the SeatGeek app, enter the promo code Footballers today. That's promo code Footballers for $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. Grab it today. All right, back to the live show.
I forgot something, by the way. Do you know how many days it is from right now, right here, this moment, until the first game of the NFL season?
Does anybody know?
Oh!
Could you even hear it?
I couldn't even hear it.
Let's do it again. 55! Oh! 55 days. That was destiny right there, Mike. All right, let's move on to our main event. We're going to talk risk, talk reward. Mike put together a very special drop for this segment. As for the over 30s,
all people listening to this show who were not child of the 90s were like,
that's what I mean.
What was the heck did I just listen to?
What was that? All right, so we thought it would be fun to talk about some of the biggest risk and reward players, which is pretty much how I view Jason on the show.
Yes.
Risk, reward.
High risk, but high reward.
High reward. Number 3 in draft accuracy in 2018.
Oh, stop. Embarrassing me.
So we've each picked out 3 guys that we think have, you can see both sides, right? You can swing the pendulum both ways. Heavy risk, heavy reward. Mike, why don't you kick it off with one of these risk-reward guys that you're scared of and you're excited for?
And I know there's some people in the front row who are going to really appreciate this. Jerick McKinnon.
Oh.
High risk, high reward.
By some people, did you mean one person? Is that who you're pointing to?
There may be one person specifically who I'm talking to. But here's the thing. And with this, we wanted to lay out both sides. Risks. He's never done it. Granted. His best finish is running back 22, which that's fine, right? That's fine for fantasy. That means we had a couple good games. The past 2 years, he's been a running back 1 or 2 in only 29% of his games. He only has 2 years of 150-plus carries. And in those years, 3.4, 3.8 yards per carry. When he got volume, is right. He's never had more than 159 carries. He couldn't seem to keep a job away from Matt Asiata, from Latavius Murray.
I think I have some Matt Asiata.
He's coming down the field.
The 20. The 18.
The 15. He might make it. And he was on a great team last year. He's on an even worse team. Risk. He's being drafted at the 209, the running back 13. And he's too small.
Not his wallet.
No, not
His
anymore.
wallet is not too small.
Thank you for pointing out some
Why
of my
are
reward.
Is that part of your reward?
Here's
Why are
the
we
thing.
so enamored with these guys that are so exciting and unknown?
He is a running back in a Shanahan system. This running back system does not just go to Kyle Shanahan. His father created a system that was dominant for running backs. He was a legend at taking a jag, making them a superstar, and then trading them away for huge assets because his model for running backs was so productive. Here's the past 3-year finishes for a Kyle Shanahan running back 1, 6, 8. And that number 1 running back, he was on an 8-8 team. That running back 8, he was on a 6-10 team. That's a bad team.
You're saying it doesn't matter
Exactly.
if they threaten for the playoffs.
San Francisco had the 3rd highest target share to the running back position. Carlos Hyde went from 64 career targets to 88 in 1 season. Running backs who finished at the top 7 had no fewer than 53 receptions. It takes target volume and receptions to get into the top. Hyde had 59. McKinnon had 51 receptions last year. He will be the primary pass catcher. Who is his competition? Undrafted Matt Breida. And what did they give Jerick McKinnon? A 4-year deal worth $30 million that gives him $12 million this season. He is the 2nd highest paid running back in the NFL behind only Le'Veon Bell. And size, he is almost identically sized to Devonta Freeman, that running back 1 for Kyle Shanahan that I talked about.
So handicap it for us, though. Where do you see it?
Sure.
Because is the risk worth the reward with Jerick McKinnon? Because the draft price is rising, and the
like I said,
expectations are rising.
like I said, drafted at the 209, and I would put the reward, I'm going to handicap that at 70%.
Ooh.
Because I'm
As
not
in 70% chance you think it works out.
I am not ignoring that there is certainly risk, but the opportunity is there. The talent for getting a player in space, you mix that with a head coach who knows how to maximize his running backs. Carlos Hyde is not a pass-catching running back, and yet he was this past season and was dominant for fantasy football. And San Francisco, while they're not as good as Minnesota, as I project this year, they're still a heck of a lot better with Jimmy Handsome going to be starting 16 games for them.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
don't have any.
Whistle for Jimmy Garoppolo?
Yeah,
Where did that come from?
It's fair. I'll allow it.
I like. I
we'll
like
talk
that
about
one.
you later. You just stay right there. You don't move.
Yeah, I know. I really
Keep
do.
your eyes
I
on
like that take. I know he's a little bit risky, but I think the risk in McKinnon is overblown from a talent perspective. The risk is injury.
Whoa.
No, I know. No, I know. I used to
Jason
be
Moore.
anti McKinnon, but last season he proved to me in the passing game that he was good enough. It took him some time to have his freak athleticism translate to the field, but it did. And so, I don't think there's a chance he just disappoints. I think that there is a chance because of his smaller body he gets injured like any running back and could be a bust. You really can't have a much higher percentage than 70% because of the position.
71.
Sure,
72.
there are a few other options.
Dare I go on?
28 more options other than that. But no, I agree. I think that when he made his transition, he went to a team solely because he wanted to prove he could be the workhorse.
Yeah,
now he's got the
solely.
opportunity. Well, solely and
Solely, the only
money
reason.
and money.
Money helps.
Money was in there too.
So who's your guy, Jay?
All right,
Give me a risk-reward candidate.
The first risk-reward guy that I'm a little scared to draft, but I think there is phenomenal reward, is wide receiver for the Houston Texans, Will Fuller.
Got a lot of Houston fans in the house.
Well, we are in Texas, so that makes a little bit of sense. But
Oh, there's the booze. There we go.
Will Fuller has the trifecta of risk that I usually try to avoid. Okay, he is an expensive draft capital player who is low volume
Can't talk very loud.
and has
Hey, guys.
an injury risk.
It's Will Fuller.
Pass me the ball.
So
Totally hijacking. He's trying to stay with the point.
Watson. The ASMR people are freaking out right now.
Oh yeah, they're loving it.
It's the low volume.
Yeah, the low volume. No, I get the joke. I understand where you went. I just, they can't all be winners.
Oh, come on.
So injury. Look, he's never started more than 13 games in the 2 seasons he's had. Only 10 games last year. The volume he is virtually guaranteed he cannot be the number 1 on his team. DeAndre Hopkins is clearly the target hard for volume. He hasn't had more than 47 receptions in either of his years, which is a terrible number for fantasy.
They call that a Kenny Stills.
And he is
How dare you?
No, it's very fair.
That's
He's
a
got
Kenny
a lot,
Stills amount of reception.
He's got a lot in common. And
You're trying to
and
find out
he's
if
priced at the back of the 6th round, the last 6-12 right now, which is pretty expensive. There's good players, available. But the reward is there with Will Fuller for sure. A lot of times, I think because of his injury, people forget who he is, what his pedigree was. He was dominant in college, and he came in running a 4.32 40. That's one of the fastest wide receiver times of all time. So you've got a true burner who has shown it on the field. You have to keep in mind, 20 of his 24 games in the NFL have been quarterbacked by Brock Osweiler, Tom Savage, and T.J. Yates. Yeah, someone just threw up.
We're going to need to clean up.
Clean up
row 3.
So, look, last season, he gets a good quarterback. But he was injured to start the year. He wasn't able to build that rapport, so there was a lot of fear. You didn't really draft him. He was irrelevant until all of a sudden he wasn't. Right? He had 4 games with Watson, and all he did was scorch the earth. Now, look, he had 7 touchdowns in 4 games. I think that's like a 28 touchdown pace. Not happening. I would never, ever think that. But the point is, he is a deep threat with a perfect pairing in Watson. Play breaks down, bad offensive line. You scramble, you throw the ball deep. And there's Will Fuller in the end zone. We've seen wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2 numbers from Deshaun Jackson, from Mike Wallace, when they weren't necessarily the number 1 on their team. That's the upside here in Will Fuller. And I think it's a perfect pair where he could very well, if he ends up this year as a wide receiver 2, you can't be surprised. The average, the better part of the last decade, the average for different NFL teams to have multiple wide receiver 2s is at least 4. 4 different teams have 2 wide receiver 2s, and so I think the Houston Texans can be one of those with DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller.
And Juju's going to be one of those?
You darn right he is.
So, handicap it. You think odds-on favorite to be more reward than risk with the health of Deshaun Watson, or no?
No. I would put it in the negative. I think it's a 45% chance that he succeeds, 55% chance.
Wait.
Oh, I didn't even know. 55! Oh! That was a pure accident.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I am
a happy accident.
I'm still a little bit more afraid. All right, who you got, Andy?
Believe you've met my fitness consigliere, Michel.
Were you not expecting that?
I was not prepared.
I'm going with Sony Michel.
I was not prepared.
I love this guy. People have asked me on radio shows about who's the next Alvin Kamara. To me, the reward is that type of a season, but the risks are there with Sony Michel, as they are with all the rookies. Like, a lot of the rookies fit directly in this category. I could have put Ronald Jones' name down. A number of them. You would have said, you would have been 95-5 on Ronald Jones. Here's the risk with Sony Michel. You have 3 basic things for me. One is ball security. 12 fumbles. 5 lost in college.
He improved it.
Here's the perspective,
He improved it.
Once per 54 touches in college, the average draft prospect, once per 124 touches.
That one's better.
So that,
He improved it.
Bill Belichick has a problem with that. Ask Stephen Ridley.
Yeah.
Of State Farm, whether or not he has a problem with that.
Look, he got me a great rate.
Yeah, well, sure. His pay is worse. Snaps. You got to worry about snaps with him because you lose Dion Lewis, and that's the role he may come into. And Dion led the team in snaps, but you're talking 35%, right? Another 33% of snaps was James White, and Burkhead was 17%, but he was injured. So you worry about snap count overall. For Sony Michel, he has to be hyper-efficient. That's what Alvin Kamara was, hyper-efficient last year. And a beast as well. I got a beast from the audience. The other thing is Bill Belichick in general is a problem. Because every week, Josh McDaniels takes him in the back room, blindfolds him, and then he plays, like, pin the tail on the depth chart. Like, you don't know who's going to start. Look at Gillislee last year.
Brandon Bolden, we did it.
We got it.
This is the week.
This is the week. Last year, you had Gilly started with 15 and 18 carries, and it was 12 and 10 and 8, and then he disappeared.
It was great first 2 games.
And so you just don't know. But the reward is an Alvin Kamara type of season. And he was a guy, Sony Michel in college, that killed great defenses. Alabama, Oklahoma. The playoff games.
Apparently we're in anti-Oklahoma territory.
I really don't know my geography.
Pro.
Wait, where's the musical
You should be
called
cheering
Texas?
for Sony Michel for 7 a carry against them.
Don't make me sing it.
But, I mean, he breaks free for long runs. That's something Alvin Kamara does. He's got burst. He's a between-the-tackles guy. The reward is that Alvin Kamara. So, for me,
Sure.
I look at it as, Deion Lewis was one of the best runners in football last year. He's gone. Great offensive line that can make space for Sony Michel. So, I put it at 65-35.
Yeah, I don't hate it in the myth that New England does not commit to a running back. It's you can build a strong case for it, but when you actually look at the facts, when they find their guy, he gets a ton of carries. Because Deion Lewis was still coming off of injuries, working his way back, but once he was finally healthy, proved it.
The problem is, do you get
committed to him.
16 games from anybody?
Fair.
That's
This
the thing
is
you
fair.
don't
And do you
expect.
know when to start him, or does he get, let's say he gets 12 great games, but you keep starting
Right.
him on the wrong week, and then after it looks like, he's out of the
Right.
rotation, you don't start him, and then he's the workhorse.
5th-round pick right now. Right around there. So.
Yeah, that's
risky.
I think that's a fair price, but I still hesitate on him.
Where's Lamar Miller going right now?
Lamar Miller is also in the 5th round.
Oh. So you would take Lamar Miller.
Even in Texans country, we can't get Lamar Miller support.
So you take Sony over Lamar? I thought you were going to tell me Lamar.
We'll talk about this in a little
right.
bit.
All right.
You're up, Mike.
Player I want to talk about, Tyreek Hill. We got some risks for Tyreek. New quarterback, new competition in Sammy Watkins. How good was Sammy Watkins in the red zone? I don't know if people realize this. He had 10 targets in the red zone. He had 7 completions in the red zone. He had 7 touchdowns in the red zone. An absolute monster.
Go big or go home.
That's my boy.
Tyreek Hill, this past season, even with Alex Smith being a dominant fantasy quarterback, earned himself a grand total of 4 red zone targets. He had 1 reception inside the 20s. All 7 of his touchdowns came from 30 yards away. And no, I don't view that as a positive because I'm talking about things that are actually repeatable. Of the wide receiver ones, he had the highest discrepancy between targets and fantasy finish, what we've been talking about lately, the metric.
Yeah, lay that out.
So there is a high correlation. Targets equal fantasy points, and you can spot regression either in a positive or negative way compared to their target finish and fantasy finish. He's being drafted at the 308, the wide receiver 14. Here's the reward. Last season, he was the wide receiver 7. It didn't feel like it, but he was actually consistent. 53% as a wide receiver 1 or 2. That's better than A.J. Green. That's better than my best friend, Larry Fitzgerald. It's better than Keenan Allen. That's better than Adam Thielen.
That's better than Des Bryant.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the temperature here on Dez right now? Is this a pro Dez room?
Yeah, what do we think about him? Do you miss him?
We're riding a wave right now.
Yeah, it
Surf's
went up, it went down.
Now, I'm sure the Saved by the Bell riff, it went over very well with this crowd. So I know that you all remember Mortal Kombat. We all remember when you put in that cheat code, I got that 1-button fatality. That's what Tyreek Hill has. He has the equivalent, the 1-play equivalent
Of winning your week.
of giving you an entire week's worth of fantasy points. His target to fantasy finish, what I just talked about, it was even crazier his rookie year. So maybe he's just a guy who breaks that measuring technique. You cannot hold him down by efficiency metrics. So the reward is huge for Tyreek Hill. But with the new quarterback and Sammy Watkins.
Is he somebody that could be one of the bigger disappointments if things go wrong? If these risks outweigh the rewards?
So wide receiver 14 off the draft board, wide receiver 7 finish. I'm going to have to peg him at 40. I don't want a 55 again. So I'm going to have to drop it to 44% that he gives you a positive return. On
Josh Gordon, Tyreek Hill.
Wow.
Tyreek.
Yeah, I think I'll take Hill there.
Adam Thielen.
Yeah, my
So
boy.
these are all back-to-back-to-back in PPR leagues. T.Y. Hilton and Tyreek Hill.
How's Andrew Luck feeling? Does anyone know? Does anyone have his cell phone number? I'd like to talk to him.
He's throwing full-size footballs?
I don't know.
Okay. Larry Fitzgerald or Tyreek Hill?
Fitz.
All right, last one, Stephon Diggs.
Diggs, come on now.
Interesting. All right. Jason, I want you to give me a special name.
I'm going to stay in Houston right now.
Are you really?
I am. I'm fascinated. You know, last season I said a lot in the offseason how fascinated I was with the Minnesota Vikings offense. They were the team that I wanted to see the most in preseason. Right now I feel like that's the Houston Texans. They're the one that I want to see how Deshaun Watson's health is, how Will Fuller's doing, as I talked about. And this guy, who is a player that I absolutely loved last year. If you've listened for more than a year, you know that this was one of my favorite guys. Deonta Foreman. That is correct from the crowd. Deonta Foreman, I think, is
You didn't win anything, I'm sorry.
Yes. A false sense of security is now yours. Deonta Foreman is a really talented player. This is my firm 100% belief, but the risk is high.
You liked him before last year.
Yes, I liked him before last year, and we saw him break off great
You even
plays.
liked him before the Achilles injury.
I liked him a little better before the Achilles injury. That's one of the largest risk factors. Now, if come draft season it's official that he's going to be on the PUP, obviously the risk becomes less fearful. If you want him, take him at the very last round and then throw him on your IR. Otherwise, don't draft him. But as of right now, we're not sure if he's going to be ready for the start of the season. If he is, he could make some serious noise. However, let me lay out the risks. The Achilles injury is a serious injury. A lot's been made by Mike, by others in the past. No,
others?
I wasn't pointing to you.
Kobe.
Okay. That running backs have not come back strong from the Achilles injury. This is both true and irrelevant because
Tell me more.
There are no good.
Nostradamus.
There's no good.
Yes, Your Honor, I said it's true and irrelevant.
Yeah, know what you got. I admitted it was true. Next offense.
New strategy.
No, here's why it's irrelevant. Name me the best young running back who had an Achilles tear that didn't come back. Mikel LeSure? Like Kendall Hunter? Like, there is no great young running back who had draft capital spent on him that didn't. Running backs are thrown away in the NFL.
It didn't used to be cool.
They don't need, we have examples. Demaryius Thomas came back. He was just as explosive. It's not like you can't come back from this. In fact, I know there's articles out from like 2013 that are worried about running backs, but a very recent study showed that 73% of players in the NFL with the Achilles tendon repair come back healthy, and there's not a big noticeable difference in performance and in games. Now, it is a little worse for running backs, but my point is, late in his career, Arian Foster. So that's one problem. Obviously, we're in Texas. You guys know that the offensive line, a little bit of a problem, I would say, for Houston. And currently, he projects to be the backup. So there are a lot of risk. So what is the reward? How good is he? Here is my outline of why I think he's good. His production in college and what he showed last year was incredible. Kevin Cole, formerly of RotoViz, used to have a running back model, a success rate model, that was a statistical data analysis that compared different things, and it would get an output number. and it was extremely accurate. Okay, anyone that ever scored over a .45, this is the list of all those players. It doesn't matter if they were drafted high, drafted low. The only players that ever scored over a .45: Chris Johnson, Darren McFadden, Matt Forte, so 3 wins. Kevin Jones, no. Michael Turner was a win. J.J. Arrington, no. DeMarco Murray, great. Latavius Murray did it in the NFL. LaDainian Tomlinson, Rashard Mendenhall, Reggie Bush, Adrian Peterson, Jonathan Stewart, and Larry Johnson. I mean, those are almost entirely fantasy stars at some point. They were almost all running back ones. And Deonta Foreman scored a .53 in that, which put him as the 8th best. Then, when you watched last season, if you take out the games where he basically didn't play, I'm talking less than 3% snaps. Okay, he was on pace for 800. He was on pace for 812 all-purpose yards. Okay, while averaging 25% snaps. He barely played. And he was very, very efficient. So Lamar Miller, who in the beginning of the year was averaging 75 to 85% snaps through the whole season, once they got to the end of the season, they're like, dude, this guy's not getting it done. They borderline benched him.
They benched him.
Yeah, I mean, he was getting less than 50% of snaps. He got less than 30% of snaps. So if Deonta Foreman comes back healthy, I'm telling you, he has the talent to be a star. However,
doesn't it scare you that 73% of people come back and play well?
No, because of what I mentioned about.
That's just.
If you talk
I know that that's still above 50.
But if you talk about all players that got this injury,
I just think it's sad. It's scary for a young running back to undergo a serious injury.
Yes, but the 100% number includes journeymen.
Sure. I understand.
You know, where you get injured and you're just not going to get another contract. So the 73% number isn't as bad as you think. However, I'm going to handicap this. The more that I did a lot of research on this.
You did not draft him in Scotty Fishbowl today.
I did not. We had the opportunity. I bypassed, and I told Mike, look, here's a good opportunity.
Oh, no!
Because I know I'm going to get heat from this.
It's the glasses.
I know I'm going to get heat from this, but I don't care. I'm back on Lamar Miller.
What?
I think Lamar Miller is a huge value in the 5th round. In the 5th round, he's a value. Deal with it.
Yeah, that's one of your best.
He did set a new world record for uses of the word however in giving an argument.
That's troubling. That's generally bad.
Yeah, Guinness, though, I would still like the certificate.
Do we still have DeMarco Murray fans in the audience tonight? This is news that we didn't share yet, but DeMarco Murray announced that he was going to sign with 5 teams a couple days ago, and then he retired today.
Yeah,
so the career of DeMarco Murray is over.
That's
weird. The advice to draft him as your last round of best ball did not age well.
Yeah, the risk reward of DeMarco Murray is now firmly in the risk column, but he's not my name. I'm going to go with the player DeMarco Murray chose to endorse, for whatever that's worth, and that's Derrick Henry. So Derrick Henry, I think he is one of the most polarizing players because everybody wants him to be a superstar for years, right? We want him to be a star. We want to find a way to start him, and you don't have DeMarco there anymore. The risks of Derrick Henry in this offense, and I've never been a giant Derrick Henry fan, is that he might not be good enough, right? This was somebody who made all of his fantasy fortune on end-of-the-game runs. He's got the highest yards per carry in the 4th quarter, but first half of games, he's a 3.1 carry guy. So he might not be very good.
He wears them down.
Well, yeah, that's what they say, except for he's not a full-time back. 4th worst percentage in football.
He uses other people to wear down the team.
What do you expect big guys to be able to do? Answer that question. What do big guys do?
In a yard per carry?
No, what do big guys supposed to do on the field when you give them the ball?
Score touchdowns.
Score touchdowns.
Wear down the defense. Short yardage. Eat well.
4th worst.
On the field?
Sure. I mean, Zeke's always like, feed me.
Blue 42.
Okay, that was easy.
Yeah, where are your Cowboy Zubas, by the way?
Seriously, I was griefed.
That's disappointing.
Griefed to no end for my Minnesota pandering. Meanwhile, Houston Texan boy over here, we're just letting him off the hook.
I'll be honest. Listen. My geography, like, I know Houston's in Texas, obviously.
He's claiming ignorance now.
I am 100% claiming ignorance. I didn't think there would be Houston fans here. If I was pandering, I would have gone Dallas. I thought, if anything, it would be like they would boo them. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, all right. I'll move on. Look, the draft price is another problem with Derrick Henry because everybody believes he's going to be great. He's a third-round guy. In standard leagues, Deion Lewis is a sixth-round guy. In every major category, Deion Lewis was better than Derrick Henry last year, including short-yarded situations. In fact, Derrick Henry, fourth worst percentage in football on third and short. He converted third and short 40% of the time. We got some Derrick Henry haters out there.
Bodied in the first row.
And so you got to pay a draft price. Mike, do you want him more than Geis?
No.
Penny?
No.
Doug Baldwin?
No.
Tyreek Hill?
Maybe no.
Maybe.
Jay Ajayi? Maybe.
Well, warmer.
Yeah.
Now, the reward is that, look, he comes in like a wrecking ball and scores 10 touchdowns.
Miley Cyrus style.
Yeah. I don't think that nickname's going to stick. But in 2 shorter years, 10 touchdowns. I mean, 5 a year from Derrick Henry. And if they choose, see, coaches can be stubborn about this. They can go into the season and say, Deion Lewis is going to be our third down guy, and he's going to be our between the 20s guy, and Derrick Henry's getting the ball inside the 20 no matter what. And inside the 20, he was actually okay in the red zone. So he's only stuffed 6 times in the red zone. So maybe he gets an extra Red Bull in his system and finds a way there where he can't find it all over the field. I don't buy in. I'm with all the boos. I think that you're talking about probably a 70-30 chance that you're disappointed in paying a third-round price for Derrick Henry. So that's how
I'm putting myself on the record. In the case between the thickness and the quickness.
Oh, yeah. You going with the quickness or the thickness?
I'm team thickness.
Your team?
I've got Derrick Henry finishing ahead of Deion Lewis in fantasy points.
Wow, okay.
I'm the only person in the known universe.
At least in the audience.
Oh, they're calling for a water bet.
Oh.
Water bet.
Agreed. The quickness and the thickness.
That's right.
That's what they call you and I, too.
And I'll take the path right in the middle, 50-50.
Yeah, that's fair.
I can't be wrong.
That's the Jason Moore special.
All right, we got.
Getting the fence
I want to
right
get
in
to
the
this
crotch.
live mailbag, so we got one more each.
All right.
Let's hear it.
I want to talk about Mark Ingram because there is risk. Step 1 is called a 4-game suspension.
Not going to score a bunch in those 4 games.
No, he will score approximately 0 points. Last year, weeks 15 through 19 means that they played in the playoffs. Just want to make sure people keep track. Kamara was getting more touches. I know that people are bringing that up. I will say it's not a lot. However, in that important 10 zone, Ingram got 1 opportunity to Kamara's 4. Ingram was getting squeezed out of those goal line opportunities. Ingram is 28. He's on a contract year. Do they squeeze the last drop or do they move on? A player who is being suspended for the first 4 games is being drafted at the beginning of the 5th round as the 24th running back. The Saints have a bye week in week 6. That means heading into week 7, you could play Mark Ingram once.
No thanks.
That's pretty close to half of your fantasy season. Now, here is the reward for Mark Ingram. This isn't the first time.
Sell me, Mike.
It's not the first time we've seen a short season for Mark Ingram, and that did not stop him from being a dominant fantasy running back. 2014, only 13 games, running back 15. 2015, only 12 games, running back 13. That would be a clear reward if you're drafting the running back 24. And I want to talk about these opportunities. From week 10 on, Kamara, 47 targets. Ingram, in that time, 32 targets. I mean, that puts him on a 73 target pace. He's still getting opportunity, especially in the passing game. He was still seeing double-digit carries in nearly every single game. He was the running back 6 last year. Now, here's the reward I really want to talk about. on this show, we talk about second half players. Frequently, we all know because we play fantasy football, guys that show up on championship teams frequently have fresh legs. Mark Ingram is going to have
The freshest?
the freshest of the fresh. So fresh and so clean.
So fresh.
How about a player who has been a top 10 running back for the past 2 seasons that heading into week 7 has only played 1 game? That's very interesting.
So you're spinning his complete absence as a positive.
Yes, actually I am. And I know that there's risk because you got to carry him. Granted, you're not taking zeros for Mark Ingram because you are prepared for this suspension. You have to throw out the end-of-season ranking for Mark Ingram and just look at what he can do for you in the second half of the season. Mark Ingram in the 5th, it is rich. It is a rich...
Mike!
The public opinion.
Are you worried the fact that he was the running back 6, but also he was on PEDs? Maybe they helped. Now he's not on them.
Maybe. Look, that certainly weighs into the risk. I will go revise my notes. Thank you, public opinion. You brought a good point to the table.
You're welcome, I did it.
But Mark Ingram, if you draft appropriately...
Where would you take him? Where would you take him? I heard a 9th round, 10th round. Where do you want him, Mike?
55.
Can I get an 11?
This guy's trying to get a 55. I would take Mark Ingram. I would take him in the 6th round.
Whoa.
Wow.
Whoa.
I think that's... I will say this. I think you're going to need to take him in this. Someone is taking him around there.
And it will be me.
Yeah. All right.
Jason, do you want me to hit it?
Yeah, let's bring it home.
You got your 3rd guy?
Oh, I sure do.
Carry on my wayward son.
Don't you cry no more. It's the sweet one. You talked, Andy, about Alvin Kamara and the breakout season, the B season, and that Sony Michel could be that.
You are waving the flag for this man.
I am waving the flag, planting the flag, and climbing the flag. I'm going to jump over that thing like Mario.
How do you have him in the risk-reward when you have him at 100% reward?
No, I don't have him at 100% reward. Here, I'll lay out the risk. The risk is very clear and obvious.
It's like candy. What's the problem?
What's the problem? It's all delicious. It's 100% reward. There's no risk with candy. Look, here's a couple of easy-to-see risk options. LeGarrette Blount, Theo Riddick. You have a goal line back that they just signed this offseason who's a proven touchdown machine. Why would you make Kerryon Johnson the short yardage back or the goal line back? You have Theo Riddick. Theo Riddick, over the last both 3 and 4 seasons, whichever way you look at it, is the second player. Well, there's different data. He is the second player in the NFL.
I'll allow it.
Thank you, Mike. He ranks second in the NFL in receptions for the running back position. If you're talking 4 years, the only player ahead of him is Le'Veon Bell. So Theo Riddick is going to catch the ball. LeGarrette Blount's going to get the short yardage. Where does Kerryon Johnson find success? And for that matter, where does any running back for the Detroit Lions find success? They have the longest drought of a 100-yard rusher. They have not been successful at running the ball. All of these things present the flags that say
they missed Joik Bell.
Joik was actually successful.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. So here's the thing. All of those reasons are clear reasons why Kerryon Johnson carries risk. What I love about that is that they push him down. Right, they push him far. It's not going to cost you as much as it's going to cost Sony Michel. Sony Michel's in the 5th round. Kerryon Johnson, you're going to get him in the 7th round. Hopefully,
are you?
You were like a week ago. I mean, I'm beating this drum, but keep it quiet, people. Here's the reality as to why I believe so much in Kerryon Johnson. He is a great running back. And he is the best, outside of Saquon, he is the best 3-down back. He is, I mean, just like last season when you looked at Alvin Kamara and, he was one of my favorite guys. In our bold prediction, I said he's going to be a top 3 rookie running back, even though there was like 6 guys going ahead of him. The reason was pass catching, 100% because of pass catching. And yeah, Theo Riddick's there. But you know what else it shows? Maybe it just shows that, Matthew Stafford throws to the running back a whole heck of a lot, and Kerryon only has to beat out Theo Riddick. Theo Riddick is not some scary proposition to beat out. Is anyone really afraid?
I hope he's not here.
Is anyone afraid? Is anybody afraid of LeGarrette Blount being too good for Kerryon Johnson to bypass?
No.
I'm not. They traded up for him in the second round, and they have the best offensive line that they have had in the entire Matthew Stafford era. And that's not just my opinion or your opinion. Pro Football Focus, who does all the scouting, all the reporting, all the projecting on their offensive line, they just released their rankings. They gave them, a top half line and said that this is the best offensive line that Matthew Stafford has ever had. When you trade up and you say, I'm going to focus on the run, I'm going to trade up to get a talented guy in the second. I mean, this was the running back Alabama wanted, and he turned them down and went to Auburn. He is super talented, and yes, you might have a slow start. You did with Alvin Kamara. A lot of people got him off the waivers in week 3. Hold on to Kerryon. I believe, and I'm planting that flag.
The Kareem Hunt type of season?
Yes, 90%.
What? 90%.
What?
90.
I can't even look at you. 90?
Wow. That's bold, my friend.
Well,
also known as someone said that's wrong.
Yeah,
you did something wrong.
You follow your heart. I'll follow mine.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm going to bring up Robby Anderson before we get into our live Dallas mailbag. Now, Robby Anderson, we don't talk about him a lot. He's got a bit of a Mark Ingram problem to start the year, potentially. Now, he is not in legal trouble anymore from the legal side. Now, from the NFL side, it's very likely that he will get a suspension in line with the personal conduct policy. Maybe it's a game, maybe it's 2 games. He obviously says he thinks it'll be 0 games.
That's what he
would do.
Yeah.
He would do 0.
If I were the NFL.
Risk 1 is that you miss a game or 2 of Robby Anderson. Risk 2, flash in a pan, one-trick pony type of guy. He runs down the field and catches the football. He doesn't have a diverse enough route tree. Another problem might be you didn't really have other options, right? Quincy Enunwa coming back. Terrell Pryor is there.
Took a lot of injuries for him.
I was waiting for you, Mike, and you let him down.
Oh, I didn't hear the
Terrell Pryor was there.
Dumpster fire!
Terrell Pryor does not get singing anymore.
He doesn't. He has to earn his song.
Which means that Terrell Pryor does not get singing anymore.
Right. But the reward to me for Robby Anderson is that we have the warts that are, he's stuck on the Jets, the quarterback situation, you don't know what it is, and he's got, concerns with how good the offense is even going to be. But over a 6-game span in the middle of the season when he was actually playing, I mean, maybe you don't realize this, 6 straight starts inside the top 24, 3 top 12 finishes, 25 years old, 7 touchdowns last year, 6 of which were 20-plus yards, which was more than the Jets had as a team the year before. That takes elite-level talent. That takes elite-level ability. You turned Josh McCown into one of the best deep passers in football. That seems like something hard to do. And so the reward is that what you saw on the field is talent. Talent trumps everything else. And you're going to get a player who, when he's on the field for 14 games, he has 8 touchdown potential. One of the best fly route runners in all of football. And so, for me, I think that the reward is going to outweigh the risk for Robby Anderson. I don't think you have to pay too much, and you have possible high upside. And you're not talking about a guy like projecting Deshaun Jackson to return to form. You've got a guy that's 25 years old. He's in the prime of his career, and I'm not worried about Hansen or Enunwa. I really am not. Or Pryor. It's Robby Anderson. And so whether it's McCown or Darnold, whatever the case may be, I'm actually a Robbie Anderson
Yeah,
fan. Do you guys have thoughts on Robbie?
You have him ranked at 19. So what is your odds must be heavily in his favor, your handicap.
Yeah, no, I do. I have it 65-35.
I thought it'd be higher.
Yeah, no, I
a little disappointed.
And that comes from not knowing if he's going to get 1, 2, 3 game suspension, whatever that may be. So, any other thoughts on Robbie?
I believe in Quincy Enunwa. I do believe in the talent of Robby Anderson, but like I said, it took a lot of magic to get him into the position to succeed. He did succeed when given the opportunity. Can he hold on to it?
All right. So, in summary, who were your 3 guys, Jason? You had
I had
Houston,
I had Deonta
Dallas.
Foreman and Will Fuller along with
Johnson.
Kerryon Johnson.
Yeah, I had Michel, the fitness consigliere. Robby Anderson and Derrick Henry and Mike.
Jerick McKinnon, Tyreek Hill, Mark Ingram.
All right, Dallas, if you're ready.
Warm up those.
It's very important that you compete when it comes to the mailbag drop. We want to invite Brad Evans to come join us for the mailbag.
Paging Brad Evans.
Paging Bradley.
Brad Evans.
Bradley.
I'm going to search for him on Yahoo.
And I want your best.
Oh, there he is.
Dallas, I want your best. You don't get to participate. All right. Are you ready? Let's hear it.
Mailbag.
Yeah, baby. And if you're part of the mailbag, let's line up behind the microphone here. Get your questions out. You know how it works. We're going to try to help you win your league.
Good job, Dallas.
And we've got Brad up here. He's going to help you win your league as well. Brad's going to be out at NFFC tomorrow as well.
I'm going to lose your league if you listen to my advice.
Not if you wear these.
Yeah.
Not if you wear these,
say
baby.
anything you want.
Oh, yeah!
It's a Big Daddy situation.
Now you can do exactly what you normally do and say
except-
anything you want.
Tricks on him. Those are prescription. He can't see nothing.
Yeah, I was a little blurry. I wasn't sure if that happened from backstage. So,
First, let's get a name.
First question.
Brad, my name's Brad. I'm from
Brad,
Waco.
what's up?
From Waco.
You got to talk in the microphone, Brad.
My question is, outside of DJ Moore, which rookie wide receiver do you think is going to have the biggest impact on the season?
Rookie wide receivers.
What do you think?
It seems like a hometown plant because
Clippity clop.
Clippity clop, my hooves. Michael Gallup, I think, has the easiest path towards opportunity. Woo! In my opinion, I don't see the other guys being able to be the wide receiver one on their own team. Well, no, Larry Fitzgerald's going to be the number one on his team. You know, Calvin Ridley's great, but Julio Jones is clearly the number one. Michael Gallup has a path to, you'd say like a track, a horse track to that number one wide receiver. So that would be my pick.
Do you buy in there? You like Calvin Ridley?
no, I don't like Calvin Ridley. Michael Gallup, I do like Michael Gallup because I live in Denver, all right? Michael Gallup, a product of Colorado State University, a player that's got a well-rounded skill set. He was actually my second best rookie wide receiver in this year's draft class, pre-draft, and you got 52% of the target share up for grabs. And Allen Hurns sucks. So, put it all together, and Gallup makes sense. But my guy...
I almost wrote my letter from Allen Hurns to you.
I thought
and it would have said that.
I thought for sure your letter was going to be Ty Montgomery.
Did you really?
I did.
Oh, that hurts me a little.
He hurt his finger when he was writing.
So other than DJ Moore, is Gallup the guy you like, or give me another name of somebody that you...
James Washington.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oklahoma State product. It looks like he's going to be locked in outside in the starting lineup for the Pittsburgh Steelers. An offense that runs a ton of 3 wide receiver sets. Juju's going to man the slot. Oh, and who's the other dude on the other side? Yeah, some guy named Antonio Brown. What does that mean? A whole lot of favorable coverage for my guy, James Washington, who will hopefully stay on the straight and narrow, unlike Martavis Bryant did.
Oh.
Yes. Hard to do, apparently.
Yeah, there's not a lot of clear opportunity for rookie wide receivers this season. So the name I want to bring up is Dante Pettis.
Yes, that
for
was
San Francisco.
Good
and
one.
this is simply because then I yet again get to mention the handsome one, Jimmy Handsome, who throws for a lot of yardage. Hopefully those touchdowns will improve. And Dante Pettis could...
You're a big Pettis fan.
I think he's good, and the path is very clear. By week 1, he could be a starting wide receiver, where these other guys we're talking about, besides DJ Moore, they're a third option when they're going too wide. These guys aren't on the field.
Mike, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Has Dante Pettis ever consumed a protein shake?
I do not know. I've never spoken with him about protein.
I think he's like 160 pounds soaking wet. That's the only downside of his game.
That's fine, as long as he catches the ball a few times and we don't get a Marty situation where he splits into two pieces.
Yep. Next question.
Thanks.
Thank you. State your name.
What's going on, fellas?
What up?
Yeah, my name is Nate Hamilton. For you guys that don't know, I write for these fine gentlemen up here.
Louder, Nate.
Oh, okay.
Much
you don't
louder.
speak for us, apparently.
How is this?
Too
Is this
loud.
Too
much
loud.
too loud.
Okay, Mike, we'll finish our Jerick McKinnon debate this weekend. That's going to happen. Okay.
Fair.
So my question is, and despite your letter from Kareem Hunt, how can any of you justify the first-round draft pick that is going for Kareem Hunt right now for a guy who, through 8-week stretch, did not top 11.7 fantasy points in half-point PPR, and 5 of those weeks did not top 8 points.
Oh, he's getting a round of applause.
Now listen, if you ask any Kareem Hunt owner, they were not happy with him for the majority of the season. Okay, so my question is, with Spencer Ware back, a new quarterback.
Are you throwing up air quotes for Spencer Ware is back?
He's back. A new quarterback. Andy Reid, for those who want to blame Andy Reid for, Kareem Hunt's woes, newsflash, he's still there. How can you justify him going in the first round this year? That's my question.
It's easy.
Well, I've got an easy answer for that one.
Super easy.
I don't.
Oh, that's not the answer I'll give.
I don't have him going in the first round this year. So I'm with you on that, but not because of all those reasons. I think Spencer Ware's health is going to determine how far I move Kareem Hunt up. I don't think, would you agree with this? Does Andy Reid have a desire to give one running back 83% of the snaps in the backfield?
No, not necessarily.
Now, is he going to have his hand forced again this year?
The biggest issue, with Kareem Hunt is Andy Reid, because Andy Reid will have these brain farts on occasion that, remember we saw with Jamal Charles?
Yeah.
Where he would just disappear in games. He would vanish.
And then after the game, be like, I need to get that Jamal Charles guy the ball.
If we could just find a way.
He goes, I just forgot. Yeah. I just plain forgot. Sorry, guys. My bad.
All right. Here's the answer, though. If you look at our rankings, he is not a consensus first-round pick, what Andy said. But the reason of how can you justify him going in the first round is very easy. It's the easiest question to ever answer. He was the running back 3 last year. And so the average draft position says he's going to be drafted in the first round. Unless you're retired, if you finished in the top 3 at running back last season, you're going to be a first-round pick. So that's why we often talk about him as potential to bust. I know, Mike, you're higher than we.
And the argument is for Spencer Ware. He suffered a devastating knee injury. To proclaim him back in this less than a full calendar year. To recovery from
it's difficult.
Torn PCL, damaged LCL, or
it's a rare injury.
I may have those flipped around. Yeah,
he's not back yet.
Yeah,
there's C's and L's everywhere.
We have not seen it.
C's and L's. Yeah, that's correct.
Meanwhile, he led the league in rushing. He had 53 receptions. I brought up the stat for Jerick McKinnon of top 7 guys have receptions in that middle 50 range, and they're already talking about. We need to get Kareem Hunt more involved in the passing game. Maybe he doesn't get 272 carries. Maybe he gets 220. Maybe he gets 230. That's a huge hit to his rushing total. Maybe his receptions go up to 60 plus, which we all, if you don't know, a target is far more valuable than a carry when it comes to fantasy running back. So I think that the Chiefs will be an underrated team. And Kareem Hunt will get that passing down work as well as the goal line. Like I talked about, Tyreek Hill was sensational, but they don't pass when they get close to the goal line. They go to the running back. And that, even if Spencer Ware is back, that's Kareem Hunt's job. So that's it. And I get it. I understand why people are worried for Kareem Hunt. I just am not.
Sure.
Next question.
Thanks, Nate.
Travis from North Carolina.
Hey, Travis.
Oh,
nice
to
meet
you, Travis.
That's presumptuous, Brad.
That's true.
Bonjour? What? It's far away, but it's still
not quite that far east.
Yeah. All right.
All right, so we have a situation. I'm on the clock.
Oh,
yeah. We're making a pick.
Yeah.
Nice.
Scotty Fishbowl.
Okay.
I've punted wide receiver. I'm loaded up at every other position. Back of the 15th round.
15th.
Need a wide receiver, high upside. Options are Albert Wilson, Jordan Matthews, Cam Meredith, and Geronimo Allison. Did I already say him?
I think Brad's going to chime in first.
I'm giddy. I'm excited.
He's freaking out.
Oh, my gosh. Somebody hold me down. Hold me down, Puffy. There's two guys here that immediately come to mind. Number one, Cameron Meredith. All right. Now, please tell me
injuries. Who cares?
Please tell me there's another Chicago Bear fan in the house.
Wow.
Oh, not
you got
one.
let down. You got let down big time.
I'm buying my beers tonight, apparently. All right, so here's why I love Cam Meredith. He's healthy.
Yeah, Jake Grizz is somewhere.
Oh, we got one. Hallelujah. I will buy you a beverage later. Come find me.
Yeah, Jay Grizz is somewhere around
he is
here.
a cardboard bear. That'll be.
So Cam Meredith is finally healthy. Remember 2 years ago when he was at full strength with Chicago, he was a fantasy football playoff savior. A guy that had a December to remember. He was wide receiver 2 in overall production from weeks 14 through 17, primarily operating out of the slot. Now, in New Orleans, he's going to work outside. You're going to see him in the slot. And who's he tied to? A future Hall of Famer in Drew Brees. He's working also opposite of Michael Thomas. So he's going to see favorable coverage. I think there's a legitimate shot here, fellas, for Cam Meredith
They like
to
him.
snap
It's
back.
high upside.
Peyton likes
60, 900, 6, 7 touchdowns. I think that's extraordinary value in round 15 of the Fishbowl draft.
It's definitely high upside, but if you said you punted wide receiver, and so you need solid and steady, that scares me a little bit to take someone that is currently not
wide
playing
receiver.
football.
It's round 15 though.
Sure, I mean it depends on your. So
do
let
you
me
wanna
give
know
you
the
a
rest
couple
of the-
options that I.
What's that?
Do you want to know the rest of the wide receiver core? Because I only have 3. I have Sammy Watkins, Kelvin Benjamin, so a little bit of safety there involved.
So you have
My
Sammy
apologies.
Watkins.
Kelvin, yeah.
You have one wide receiver.
I would personally rather have. I would look for Paul Richardson. He goes super late. He's
Yeah,
probably
he's still
available.
there. Yeah.
What?
He's still there.
Then draft him.
Over Cam Meredith?
Hold on. So Brad, what reports have you heard or seen for the positive proof of the health of Cam Meredith's knee?
He feels that he is going to be a full strength.
Besides him,
He feels.
because guess what? I can run a 4.40. If you ask me, I can do it.
Obviously,
Prove it. That's what I'm talking about. Prove it.
It could take time. It could take
time.
4 to 6 weeks, even if he is healthy, to get into rhythm
Game
with
shape,
Breeze,
right.
to be
But
playing enough snaps.
When did he tear that knee, guys? It's
Early.
preseason.
Preseason. Yeah.
So he's had a full entire season to recover. I think he is going to be at or near full strength when training camp opens for the New Orleans Saints. Now, I will say this. The hot dog on a stick in this situation is Jordan Matthews.
Also,
you got to remember, he's still only 25 years old.
Hold on. You got to be careful when you speak positive about Jordan Matthews to Andy. He's
gonna throw up.
He's bitter?
He's known to lash out physically when you speak positively.
I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan.
He's only 25.
Yeah, he's trying to play on every NFL
and
team.
Julian Edelman's not going to be around for 4 weeks.
I'm aware. Yeah, that's how he makes his cheddar. He finds those situations.
Telling you.
Yeah, I would also look at Tyler Lockett and D.D. Westbrook.
Okay.
Next question.
Thanks for the question.
Hello, ballers.
What up?
It's Chris from Austin, Texas.
What's
Oh,
up?
it's
Welcome.
so nice to meet you, Chris.
Welcome to Texas.
Thank you.
I think everybody in this room would agree with me that besides football, something the Texans have a deep love for is barbecue.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
It's also something very near and dear to my heart, Doctor. So
Nice.
I have a keep trade cut for you.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right.
Brisket, sausage,
Yes.
or chicken.
Oh, okay.
Cutting chicken.
Whoa.
Chicken's immediately eliminated, right?
Yeah.
That's gone.
All right. So
Who's trading for chicken?
look,
We had
his heart
brisket,
doctor is trading for chicken.
brisket, sausage, chicken.
Keep trade cut.
I'm keeping the brisket.
Yeah.
Keeping the brisket.
I figured that would be the popular, but look, brisket's got high value. I'm trading brisket, and I love barbecue sausage. It's so good.
Yes.
Is that where you're going with?
Well, look, I'm from Illinois originally.
I'll take Cam Meredith.
He's delicious like a barbecued sausage. I'm from Illinois. I got a lot of respect for tube meats. So I'm going sausage all the way.
Very nice. All right, thanks.
Unpopular choice.
That's a good question. A delicious one.
He's a little too tall for me. Hi, I'm Asia from here.
Oh, welcome.
Thank you. That's a hard question to come after. But I'm going into my 4th year playing fantasy, 3rd year doing season long. How many leagues around this time do you think I can handle that I can bring the championship home in?
See, that comes down to enjoyment.
Yeah.
For me, right? Like, if you have every player on every team, do you enjoy watching football?
And I'll say this. So I feel like most fantasy players experience this. 55 leagues. You get in with one, you dip your toes, you find out this is a ton of fun. You maybe add another league, and then you go out of control. I mean, the bell curve goes up. I'm going to do 10 leagues. I can manage them all. And it's a mistake because you get burned out. You have leagues that you have to set waivers, and it becomes a chore. Fantasy football should never have an aspect of mopping your floor. So I highly recommend. It's the magic number for a reason. So I say 3.
All right. What do you think?
3 main leagues.
I was in 15 last year.
Like I said, degenerate.
But I'm a machine, baby. It really depends upon how much free time you got.
Well, and it's you can be in a lot, but how many are you invested in to the point where you're
15?
All right. By the way,
are you kidding me?
Guess what?
What?
Asia was a very special winner. She actually won tickets to the show, and she won the Dak Prescott signed helmet.
Nice.
Very nice.
Congratulations, Asia. Thank you to Pristine Auction for providing the helmet. Enjoy. It is a beauty.
And that's going to wrap it up. Thank you, Brad, for joining us on the mailbag. Thank you, Trent, Andy, Ethan from the NFFC. I hope you guys are sticking around. Who's going to NFFC tomorrow?
Yeah.
Wow. That is great. Ryan, Chris from Margin Walker Entertainment, thank you for helping us with this show. Draft, thank you for sponsoring this event. Pristine Auction, we mentioned it. And thanks to you, the Foot Clan.
Yes!
Woo! And we're going to take a picture, do some fun stuff after the show here today.
Yeah,
so hang
don't
tight.
Move. We will absolutely, and for you listening at home, we will see you next time. We love you so much. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another edition of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Don't forget to visit us on the web at www.thefantasyfootballers.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.